Alright, hello and welcome to HRL Season 9, the finale season, right here on Salt Lake. So before I get into it, I probably should go through some of the format changes because things are going to be a little bit different this season for the races, and that'll definitely seep into the videos as well. So this track is so big that, like, look at that, it disappears. That's so dumb. So I can't get, like, a proper overview. It's about as good as I can do. Yeah, it's about the best you're going to get. Anyways, Salt Lake SX, this track really needs no introduction. There have been some slight changes. I'll go over those. But yeah, it doesn't really need an introduction. We've raced Salt Lake several times now. It's an HRL classic SX track. As per usual, small changes this time around. One of them is that the inside line was roughed up a little bit here. The outside line was smoothed out a little bit. You have the archway here preventing potential Soul Reaper conkage. And then over here, right here, this section is quite a bit different. Double on the outside, triple on the inside, but it's also got some whoops on the inside, so it's not too OP. So this ends up being, people definitely have a preferred way, but this ends up being a pretty well, I think it's definitely more even than it was before, this section. And then going over here, that's all the same. This part is, I would say, the best change from the last version. This part right here, this triple versus double, was cleaned up a ton and ended up running pretty well, pretty even. This part is missing used to have the bumps on, or sorry, I think it was just a separate roller on the inside. So this part's cleaned up a lot as well. Just a little bit more to the piece count. This part's pretty similar for the beginning of it, but for the second half, you can now triple all the way over this rollover if you run the outside. Although it is very hard to pull off and it is very risky. So it's a very risk-reward line. Like if you pull it off, you're going to be getting a lot of time each lap. But if you mess it up or case it even a tad, then the inside line will be advantageous. So now the inside line has gone from just like the straight up fast line to the inside line here is more of a consistent line. If you want to be safe but still fast. So like if you do the inside line well, it's still pretty strong, and it's definitely a lot safer, I would say, than that outside option. Other than that, though, that's it. So that's all that's changed. I'm going to try to do that for each track, because each track this season, that's one thing for Season 9, all of the tracks are returning tracks with, like, little changes. So I'm going to try to go over that in the beginning of each race, like what changed, like what are those little changes. So those are the little changes there for Salt Lake. Also the format, no qualifying, no semis, done away with those. Now it's just like Season 3, really. This is kind of like returning to our roots of Halo 5 this season. It's just heats and then the race. That's all it is. And no motos even, just heats and then the race. So this isn't even like Season 3. This is like Season 1 format here, or very similar to Season 1 format. It's also triple headers each night, which sounded like a lot, but after doing it this night, it's really not that bad actually. It's about the length of a normal double header, I would say. So it actually worked out pretty well. Now we're able to get 3 races in on a night and actually be done at like a normal time where we'd get 1, maybe 2 races done. And this is just Supercross. So Supercross, in terms of like pits and stuff, there's none of that. It's just classic Supercross. Nothing else to explain there. One other thing, we are doing lapped races now. So that is a new change for this season. Done away with the timer for heats and for the race. We're going to be doing lapped races just like the Oval Series. And that's the only real change I need to give as intro to SX. Everything else, SX, pretty much the same. So not much else to say there for Supercross. When we get to GP, Oval, and Rallycross, I may have more to talk about. But for Supercross, not that much. So let's go through the heat results. I'm just going to say who won. So the heat winners, sorry, this is a little jumbled, so I got to find it. It looks like Vulcan won the first heat and Slaunch won the second heat, so that's why they got first 2 gate picks. Well, I guess I could give top 3. So for the first heat, it was Vulcan first, and then second was Detail, and then third was Luke. Is that right? Yeah, that is right. Okay. So then for the first heat, or no, that wasn't right. My bad. Third was, oh, I think it's written incorrectly. My bad. I think it's Roman third for the first heat. And then we go to the second heat. Second heat is the one that Slaunch won, and then Luke third, Hunter second. And remember, first heat was Vulcan winning, Roman third, and Detail second. So there we go. That's it. And here's the gate. I'm going to go through the gate from inside to outside and take the time on it, because it's not going to be like other seasons where we're going to have a gate reset. This is going to be the one gate for the race. No more 2 moto format. Is just this one race, and then that's it. So from inside to outside, and then plus there's going to be some people with some new armors and new colors, so I just want to make sure we get acclimated to that. So inside to outside, it's Slaunch, Detail, Luke, Roman, Elite, and I believe Vulcan right there. And then we have, on the next gate, we have Hunter, Real Dill, Camby. I believe that's Fireball. Looks like his armor's conked. And then I think Sector. And I believe, yeah, that's Sector. And then this is Darth Dink. I'm just going to be calling him Dink, but new driver right here. Threw me off at first, because for some reason, every time we have a new driver, they always have similar colors to Justin. I don't get it. They always do. Holy frickin' crap, Jared's bright. So there's Jared. Who's also big deal right here. Jared's returning and not just doing an oval season. He's going to be doing a full-length actual season this time. So that's a big step for him. And then Soul Reaper, same thing for him as well. Doing an actual full-length season. So that's awesome. Getting some new drivers still, or even some returning drivers here at the end of it. I just realized, I think the left gate is so much more stacked. That's interesting. Anyways, like I said, 20-lap race here. When the gate drops, we're going green. 20 laps at the Classic Salt Lake. Green flag. And then looking like he's going to get the early hole shot is going to be Slaunch. Let's see how clean everybody is. Looks like Dink already went down. The first section is usually pretty cheesy. And that actually wasn't too bad. Alright, Real Dill gets conked at the end of it. That's unfortunate. And off the berm for Real Dill as well. That is going to be an extremely rough start to the race. And he's going to have to rejoin as well. That is awful. So we're going to be looking at him later in the race because he has had just an absolutely atrocious start. Battle for the lead here between Luke and Slaunch and Hunter as well. And Vulcan also close by. Nice move out of Vulcan right there. A rough start right there into the inside for Luke. That's going to slow up Roman just a tad. So it's going to get and Hunter screws up as well. So the top two of Slaunch and Vulcan is definitely going to get a bit of a gap right here. Oh no, Roman! No! Oh, Roman with the cheese. That is so unfortunate. Has to recover from that. Going to be a bad start to this race for Roman, that's for sure. And this is where a big battle is going to be going down. Luke in Detail here trying to get by Hunter in this third place spot. This would be for podium position. And Camby as well. Also not too far behind, so he's had a decent start. Now it's going to be close for podium position here. Not quite yet. Hunter's still going to... And Hunter, like I said, got second in the heat, so he's actually looking a little bit better at Salt Lake than previous runs. I can remember Hunter running on this track, so maybe has finally gotten some big improvement here over the course of racing it 3 or 4 times. Camby as well, trying to have a good show here. Another person that I can usually think of like finishing around like the 9th to 11th place spot. So it's going to be a long race this time, though. It's going to be a long race. We're just completing our second lap this time by. So he's got plenty of time to try to hold on to that. Oh, this is going to be close. Detail makes a slight mistake. Is able to hold on to the position, though. So that could have been way worse. Slaunch now with an early lead. Vulcan, I don't know if he got hit with the lag cheese yet, but I know Vulcan had some lag issues, so we might see that happen here in a second. Close for third place still. Hunter trying his hardest to hold on to it. Let's see who gets the better run through the first section. And really rough exit right there. Hunter almost goes off the berm. That could have been really bad. So Hunter's going to lose the third place spot. Now he's going to try to hold on to fourth. And there it is. I think, okay, yep, there it is. So Vulcan's lag is going to lose him second place. So that was rough for Vulcan right there because he was off to a pretty good start. And as you can see, he lost quite a bit of ground. And now Camby has seemed to have lost a little bit of position, and maybe Detail made another mistake, or Roman's just making some gains here. Now competing with him for 5th place. Roman going to opt for the outside. Might be able to take it here. But a crossover. Good battle so far. Going to be another split line. Who's going to get the advantage at the end of this? Oh, this is a really nice battle to watch. This is like perfect for how this track should work out. And Detail is able to clear the outside line, which will give him the eventual advantage and going to hold on to the 5th place spot. Oh, and Vulcan's lagging again. I can see it in the distance. So Vulcan may even lose podium position. There it is. He loses podium position. And now potentially Detail and Roman. This is so unfortunate for Vulcan because he's actually looking really strong at this track. He won a heat. He was in a great position to go for a podium. And now he has 2 huge lag spikes. And he's like on the verge of losing a top 5 position. So That really sucks for him because he is pretty strong on this track. This is one of his, I mean, he's pretty good on Supercross usually in general, but, oh, Camby. Oh, Camby, that is so unfortunate. I like what he did there, though. That does kind of make sense, how he did that. That is very unfortunate, though. Oh, Hunter goes down. Big opportunity, Detail, just right place, right time right there. Takes advantage and is going to get into the podium position. And that was unfortunate there for Hunter and Vulcan as well because he just had the wrong place. Oh, and it's getting close for the lead as well. Side by side for the lead, Solange and Luke down here at the, I believe this is the 4th lap, but I'll check in on board every once in a while just to be sure. So it's going to be close to the sand section. Still side by side. Little contact there on the inside cylinder, I guess you could call it, for Solange, so ends up losing that spot, but going to try to fight back. And we already have, it looks like Dink getting lapped. Could this play a role? That's so fortunate for Solange and Luke. He just happened to like crash in the perfect spot for them both to split them. So I say it could also be fortunate for Dink as well, because if I don't think it would have helped his race any if one of them crashed into him. So, but still watching the top 2 positions for now and trying to watch the top 5 as well because it's a pretty good battle for both spots so far. And that is the nice thing about the extended single moto is that we will get several battles throughout the race. Oh, that's unfortunate. Vulcan screwing up right in front of Roman. He's going to lose some time there. I also saw a Real Deal just outside of the top 5 as well, so he looks like he's poised to make a pretty decent comeback. Which good for him because that start was awful. Absolutely awful. So now the lead is stretched a little bit. We'll get back to that in a second. Let's look here. Detail's got a pretty good gap both ways for 3rd. Let's look right here. Let's go on board actually with Roman battling for this 5th place spot. Let me make sure the game audio's up. Okay, it is. Good. Roman, I see you in the chat. Sorry, nobody else is talking to you. But let's look at that. Roman makes a mistake. So with the checkpoints, I'm going to explain this for the video. The heat race was 4-lap heat. And then the feature race was 20 laps here for Salt Lake, but we didn't end the game, so we're actually ending this full race here on 24 instead of 20. So the full race is going to end on 24. So Roman now at 9 checkpoints means that we are on. We've completed 5 laps here, and it's going to be 6 laps down when he crosses the line this time by. So right now your current order, Soul Reaper is going to be in jeopardy of being lapped. By the way, got to try to keep track of who gets lapped how many times. But current order is going to be Luke, Solange, Detail, Vulcan, and Roman. That is your current top 5. And Vulcan, I gotta say, has got to feel pretty fortunate. Oh, looks like Detail with a mistake. I don't know if these guys are going to be able to take advantage. Roman had to roll the first section, and Vulcan has a terrible exit. So Roman's going to end up getting the spot back. And now this also brings Hunter and Real Deal back into this picture. Roman and Vulcan had to roll the section again. Let's get on board with Real Deal here because he's actually easily in the best spot to spectate. Oh, he's gonna follow Hunter. This could be dangerous. Oh, so Hunter cases. Real Deal narrowly avoids it, so that's good right there. And this is close. Roman with the mistake through the whoops. If you don't enter those whoops properly, you get punished hard. Real Deal. Whoa, that was close. And Hunter coming in here. This battle's actually crazy. And Vulcan just trying to hold all these guys off. They all settle into that same line, which intrigues me. Roman's going to go for a different line, so I appreciate that. He screws it up, though. Hunter screws up, and that's going to cheese both Real Deal and Roman a little bit. And Hunter's going to end up losing the most out of that, though. And this is just some rough riding here. Oh! And Roman cases that potentially with Real Deal with a blockage there as well. So that was very close. See for Roman to potentially pull some payback off later in the race, so we'll keep our eyes on that. And while all this has been going down, Vulcan looking pretty solid right now in 4th. So Vulcan has been able to get a bit of that gap back, so good for him. Because he would probably be like either in 3rd or competing for 3rd right now if it wasn't for his lag, so kind of unfortunate. Let's get an update at the finish this time by, because it's got to be relatively close. So, and there's some lap traffic as well. Soul Reaper definitely going to hurt Solange a bit. And Dink, I think that's Dink, also going to hurt Detail quite a bit as well, so both drivers getting affected by the lap traffic, and lap traffic is going to play a big role in these longer races this season. So that's one of the interesting parts of this season, is that to keep these lead battles interesting, lap traffic should be a role in pretty much all of these races with how long the races are, especially on the really small tracks. And plus, Beckham, which we race next, that's next round is Beckham, is actually one of the longer tracks. I don't think it's the longest. It's definitely not the longest, but it's one of the longer tracks on the schedule. So, and on those longer tracks, we even on those longer tracks, we will see plenty of lap traffic. Although it is more common on the shorter tracks to see more lap traffic. So here's the gap from first to second. Slaunch still holding on to that second place position, but Detail is creeping in third. And then we have quite a bit of a gap. There's Jared, he's getting lapped. And then that's Vulcan in fourth, going to try to get by him. Roman in fifth, Real Deal in sixth, Hunter in seventh. So those guys are all still relatively close. Let's try to get a top 10. Eighth is Camby. That's an insane gap Camby's got. He's gone from like everybody. Ninth is Fireball, and he's got, I guess, Sector and Elite pretty close behind him as well. So Fireball with a really rough start to this race. Let's see what lap we just hit. So 13. Okay, so we're getting close to the halfway point here. We are currently going to stay on board. Let's see. Well, looks like that's still pretty separate, so let's stay on board here. I'm going to leave the lap counter up with Real Deal and Roman because Real Deal is starting to get back close to Roman. Potentially going to try to take this spot. Real Deal trying to make up for previous Salt Lake races where his last outing at Salt Lake was, to put it lightly, absolutely terrible, and almost costed him his championship. So probably got a bit of a chip on his shoulder coming to this track to open up this season, but at the same time probably a nice thing, because if he has a bad race, it's like, it's the first race. If he has a good race, it's like, oh, it's the first race. Now I'm off to a nice start on a track I didn't expect to be off to a nice start on. So I guess that is the one advantage of this track being the first, from his perspective, is that it is the first race, and you know, it's not gonna like really make or break his season right away. Whereas when he was competing for his championship, this track, his performance on it easily could have ruined his championship hopes. So definitely looking to improve here, and so far looking much improved, even after that terrible start. And we're gonna go to a replay here and see what happened. Detail got by Slaunch finally, and I am not sure how. So let's see what happened. Slaunch with the case right there, and then another case to follow it up, and Detail just landed both of those clean. So after those mistakes, Detail is going to be able to take that second place spot, but we'll keep our eye on that battle to see if he can hold on to it. And I think that they caught up to Luke a little bit, because it looks like, yeah, it looks like he definitely must have made a mistake as well. So the lead gap is not as intense as it once was, but it's still quite a bit of a lead gap, but definitely workable, I would say. If Detail has a really good, solid, just clean race, or Slaunch as well, definitely a workable gap. So we'll keep our eyes on the lead as well. And coming back here to Real Deal trying to chase down. This is probably one of the best packs right now on track, because we have 4th, 5th, and 6th right here. This might be Real Deal's opportunity. Going to go to the inside, going to try that triple line out. Not the preferred line, but as you can see, it's not a bad line. I think it's not nearly as bad as that section used to be balanced. So that's what I went for. Oh, wow. Real Deal was able to nail it. He was able to nail the whoops. Oh, and Roman just punts him off right there. Oh, boy. This is not over, the feud between these two on this race. They're definitely going to go back and forth. So until I see some action somewhere else, I'm going to stay on board with these two. They are making this race interesting. Oh, big mistake right there out of Real Deal. That's not good. So he's going to have to work here. Either Roman's going to have to make some mistakes, or he's going to have to work here. And Real Deal's got to be careful. He's got to have the previous Salt Lake performance in the back of his mind. Doesn't want to do that bad again. What's up, Bound? I can't frickin' read your name on Twitch because it's white. Anyways. Oh, looks like let's get on board with Roman real quick right here, because he has Dink right in front of him, and this could cause some issues. Lap traffic might be what allows Real Deal to get back into it. Nope. Goes right by him. And what lap? We are currently 9 laps to go, so we're just over the halfway point of this race. So still quite a bit of racing left here in Salt Lake, but... And also a little fun fact, the races for this season are designed to be roughly about, I believe about 20 minutes long. Which is a little bit shorter than the Oval Series races, but obviously longer than the previous motos that we've been having for the previous, like, 6 seasons or so. So yeah, definitely there's going to be some adjustment. We're going to see that here on the first night. We're going to see that here throughout the season. Definitely going to be some adjustment on the parts of these drivers because they are not used to racing this much. They get, if you want to add in the heats to it as well, it's about 72 minutes. 72 minutes of driving, roughly 72 to 80, I would say, across the heats and the features. For the features, it's about 60, and for the heats, it's about 12. So that's a lot of racing for one night. And remember, it's about roughly 24 minutes of driving on each track. So this is something that these drivers are not used to. Like they are used to driving more than that for these races, but they're not used to doing it in one sitting. Like the races used to be more of a sprint. Now they're more of a marathon, and these drivers just aren't used to that. So for this first race of the night, we're not going to see any like fatigue, any like obvious mistakes that people make that are probably from fatigue. But I think towards the second race and maybe the third race as well, especially because it's an oval race, I think that we are going to see fatigue set in, and I think we are going to see some of these drivers make mistakes that they, oh, that could be bad. We're going to see some of these drivers make mistakes that they wouldn't normally make because of that fatigue. And that was big right there, that screw up from Roman. That allows Real Deal to potentially be back in this picture. But he also just lost a lot of ground on Vulcan, so that helps out Vulcan. We see Detail lap Elite right there. Slaunch trying to work his way by him eventually as well. And that's the lead right now. So that's Luke right there. That's lead. Detail second right there. The pink driver. And then Slaunch the green driver in third. So like pretty decent gaps for the top three. And then look at this gap. Slaunch hits it right there. If you want to count in your head the seconds or something like that, we'll wait to see until fourth place hits that same spot. And there it is. There's Vulcan fourth place right now. So top three is pretty much gone. These guys back here are basically competing for those top 5 spots. Top 3 is gone, and those top 3 spots are just between those 3 drivers at this point. A little mistake. Let's get back on board with Roman, because oh no. Okay, he gets by Dink cleanly. I was gonna say that could have been bad. What about Real Deal? Looking good so far. That was close, but looking good so far. All right, let's get an update on the laps. Okay, so it appears that we are at about 6 laps remaining here. Let's get an overview of the track quick while I have to do this BS. About 6 laps remaining. Luke's going to be hitting 5 laps remaining, so we're getting to the last quarter of this race. I'm going to take a drink here because I'm also not used to this. Even with the Oval Series races. Alright, so let's get a little update on everything. So, across the line this time, everybody's going to be on 5 laps to go. So we're getting to the last half of this race. It's kind of sad. Like, this race has gone by pretty quick, but oh well. And the funny thing is, I say pretty quick. Like, this is a 20-minute race. So that's not quick, right? Like, that's actually pretty rough on some of these drivers. 20 minutes doesn't sound like that long of a time to be racing, but it really is. It's a lot of time, and that's what I like about it. Doing the 20-minute race instead of the 2 10-minute motos. Is that with the 2 10-minute motos, like I said, they're sprints. So like if you have a bad start, or if you have one really bad mistake, you're pretty much done. Whereas with these longer races, if you have a bad start or like one really bad mistake, you're not really done. You're not out for the count. You can make a comeback with this format, so that's kind of nice. And also, there were some things with this 2-moto format where it felt like some people in the second moto that probably didn't deserve a win on the track would get a win, and they would even sometimes get an overall because of it. I think that this format definitely shows like the most skilled driver on the track quite a bit better. It has a lot more weight to it as well, because with the 2-moto format, you know, you always, if you have a bad first moto, you always have that second moto to get a better start and possibly get a win. Whereas with this, it's one race and then it's over, so a bit more weighty. Ooh, Real Deal, that was close. What is that over there as well? Is that Vulcan? Oh no, Vulcan, look at Vulcan right here. This might be how he loses his 4th place. He's got Jared and Elite 2-lap drivers right in front of him. This could be terrible for him. What's he going to do in this situation? So he gets by Jared. He got a little fortunate right there. What's he going to do to get by Elite? Looking good so far. Oh, Hunter goes down. Rip. I think Vulcan should have a lead right here. And to the inside. And Elite should be giving a little bit of slack, because Vulcan is the driver with the advantage here. He's going to take an alternate line. That was a nice move out of Vulcan, and Elite just completely conks it. So nice move out of Vulcan. That could have spelled disaster for him, but you look on the bright side, he actually got by both of them pretty easily and still holds on to his 4th place, so not too bad so far. Let's get a quick update. Top 3 is the top 3 the same. Top 3 is the same, and those gaps are also roughly the same. Maybe stretched a little bit between each of them, but roughly the same. So top 3 has been looking very consistent. So not too much going on there. So I do want to keep my eyes on this battle here. Oh my god, Dink got stuck. Oh, there it is. This battle here between Roman and Real Deal. Remember, these two have taken each other out a few times already throughout this race. Elite's also going to play a role in it, the lap driver. So expect a big move here out of Real Deal or Roman, because they've both been playing dirty this race. And I don't expect it to stop anytime soon, so. And let's check the laps quick. Oh, we're getting there. So leader just hit 2 laps to go. And these guys are also going to be hitting 2 laps to go. So not that much time remaining in the race at this point. This is go time. Real Deal's been working on Roman this entire race to try to get this top 5. Now is the time to do it. And this is it. I think he's got it. Oh no, they're still going at it. Oh, this is a great battle. And Roman holds on. I cannot believe that he held on to that position. Real Deal still has kind of a run, though. He does have the inside a bit, but that inside, like I said, roughed up a tad. Sand section with some minor adjustments. And with 2 to go, Roman will hold on to it. That was close. That was definitely... Oh, no. I was going to say there's a big opportunity for Real Deal, but not being able to get by him there, along with that quick mistake with Roman... Or, sorry, that quick mistake, Real Deal, after the sand section messes up in the first section. So... But with that, we are getting pretty close. So, we're going to watch. So, leaders are on white flag, but they're pretty separated. So, we'll watch that afterwards. This is the battle. This is the battle. This is where it's at. So, we're going to keep on board with this. Remember, these guys are hitting the white flag last lap this time by. This is for 5th place. Is that Vulcan? Oh, no, Vulcan. We'll definitely have to review. Oh, no, that's insult to injury. Vulcan going into the final lap, crashes so hard, loses all of that ground that he worked for, and is now outside of the top 5. That is so unfortunate. We will definitely have to watch some stuff, some replays here over after the race is over. But we are on the white flag lap, and we've been watching this battle pretty much the whole race, been watching it brew up, and here it is. Who is going to take the 4th place spot? And remember, Roman did conk Real Deal the last time, so Real Deal's probably looking to not play too nice this time by, but this is quite a big gap. Roman has the gap. That was definitely not a very good turn, though. Real Deal definitely had the advantage there. To the inside, potentially. Roman knows that he's there. This is close. Which lines are they going to run here? Real Deal's going to follow him in. Pretty similar. He goes to the inside. Oh, and he takes him out. He takes him out into the barrier. Can he hold on to it? Roman's trying to come back. And that might be it. That might be it. The conk move, revenge move out of Real Deal is going to come in clutch on the final lap. Oh my. That was quite the battle. Quite the conking. And let's go back already. Let's get a view of how everything else went down. So first thing I want to look at is I do want to see how Vulcan messed up, because I wanted to cry. That just looked terrible. Thanks for the host, Ethan. So let's see what happened to Vulcan. Oh my god. That is the worst possible way. Oh my god. That is the worst possible way that you could crash off that. Like, usually when you crash taking that jump, I don't think he's crashed that hard there the entire race. And then going into the final lap, Oh my god. That is unfortunate for Vulcan, man. He definitely had 4th place stolen from him there. Oh my god. That's so sad. That's the worst way it possibly could have happened. And then he gets conked after it. That's so unfortunate, man. So sucks for Vulcan. He was really good tonight. I got to give him some credit. Vulcan has improved. He's been with us for such a long time. He's gone through so much evolution, I guess you could say. And this season he's looking really strong, like potentially his strongest, and he ends up coming up short in the end of this first race where he could have easily nailed a Supercross top 5. That's just sad. So here we're going to watch the final lap for the top 3 to show how separated they were, because they did end up still being pretty separated towards the end of it. You see Slotch screwing up there, so yeah, that ended up not being close. So there's the white flag. Last lap here to see how close it was for 1st and 2nd. It was quite a bit of a gap, spoiler alert. Oh, that was close though with Dink. So Dink and Soul Reaper and Jared, right? The only 2 drivers to get lapped twice? Or did Jared get lapped twice? I'm not sure. It was hard to... I wasn't really watching the lead most of that race. We were mostly watching like the mid-pack, so... yeah, I'm not exactly sure on that one. But yeah, it was pretty typical Salt Lake performance here. We had the top people that we expected to be racing really well, and I'd say the biggest surprise of the night was probably Real Deal doing a lot better, and Vulcan also looking very strong. I think Vulcan, with some less lag, could easily have been not only a top 3 contender, but possibly a win contender. He looked really good. So here we go, going to the final. Going across the line finally, and I am going to get a shot here of all of the results. And here it is. So Luke's going to take the win for the first race of Season 9. 2nd place is going to go to previous main series season's champion Detail. 3rd is going to go to Season 4 champion Slaunch. But then 4th is going to go to... Where are they? Where? Oh, they're still coming. Oh, there it is. There it is. And 4th is going to go to Season 6 champion Real Deal. 5th gonna go to champion of his mom's heart, Roman. Come on, Roman, you gotta admit that is kind of funny. 6th is gonna go to Vulcan, who's the champion of my heart. And then 7th, I believe, does end up going to Hunter. So Hunter, I gotta say I'm impressed. Not too bad of a run here. Oh wow, Fireball! Holy crap! Dude, do you remember how far he was behind Camby? Ends up getting 8th. That's insane. Camby gets 9th. Wow, that's actually pretty crazy. And then I'm just gonna... These people, they're all lapped. It's gonna take a minute. So let's just go through the rest of the results. So 10th ends up going to Sector. This is as far as I'm aware. 10th ends up going to Sector. 11th ends up going to Elite. 12th ends up going to Soul Reaper. 13th goes to Jared. And 14th goes to Dink. So that's as far as I'm aware. So overall, that was a pretty, like... I would say if we did like a podcast, like predictions and stuff like that, I would say that race went pretty close to predictions for what predictions would have been. But that doesn't mean it was a bad race. There was a lot of conkenings, and it was pretty entertaining. And I definitely think that the longer race format definitely showed how it could create some interesting scenarios there in that Salt Lake race. So overall, not a bad first race. Not a bad first Supercross race, what I should say. And now let's move on to the GP.